Listen to this. As President Biden pushes offshore wind energy, more whales are dying. Just last week, another whale washed ashore on the East Coast, marking the 60th death since December of 2022. Our next guest produced a new documentary with reporting that links whale deaths to the aggressive wind energy push. Take a look.
What the United States is looking at is thousands of wind turbines in an area that our whales, our dolphins, our marine life, where they live, where they migrate, where they breed. It's only when they started going into the wind-leased areas that we believe that the whales are dying.
So those red dots are whale deaths.
Precisely.
What a scandal.
Let's bring in journalist Michael Schellenberger. He is the producer of Thrown to the Wind, Public and Environmental Progress founder. So, Michael, the whale beachings up and down the East Coast have been a mystery to many people. Some have thought that maybe surveying the ocean bottom using sonar might have driven the whales ashore. Others wonder if maybe pounding in the foundations for these wind platforms might be to blame. What did your investigation and your reporting find?
Well, sure, it's good to be with you. I think it's important to remember that for months, really years, the government agencies that are charged with protecting these magnificent mammals, of which there's only 340 left of the North Atlantic right whale left in the world, critically endangered, those government agencies have been telling us that they have done the research and that they know that it's not the wind industry causing these deaths. We went out and did two of our own studies that the government either has been doing and either doing wrong or covering up the results, or they have not done, in which case they have grossly misrepresented the situation. And we found both very high decibel volume levels that we believe are likely to be against the law to do the sonar mapping of the ocean floor to find the places to install the turbines. We also correlated boat traffic in new areas that there had not been boat traffic before and correlated those areas with the increase in whale deaths. This is absolutely scandalous data. We are working with Congress to provide this information through Congress and public hearings because the congressional branch, the legislative branch needs to be involved because we believe there's a significant cover-up by the government agencies in question here.
So if your reporting is correct in its push to, quote, save the environment by developing alternative forms of energy, the Biden administration could be precipitating an environmental catastrophe among this endangered species. And if you need any proof that sonar can be deadly to whales, let's go back to 2002. Article in Science magazine about whales and Navy sonar, which said, in a landmark study, the U.S. Navy has concluded that it killed at least 6 whales in an accident involving common ship-based sonars. The finding, announced late last month by the Navy and the U.S. National Marine Fisheries Service, may complicate Navy plans to field a powerful new sonar system designed to detect enemy submarines at long distances. We know sonar kills whales, so why are they doing this?
Well, not only that, but we know the mechanisms for how it happens. The whales try to escape these really loud noises. I mean, it's in the movie we show you screamingly loud. The whales flee. Mothers and their calves are separated. The calves will die that way. They will also end up leaving richer feeding grounds for poorer feeding grounds. They become undernourished. And they also flee into areas with higher boat traffic where they're struck by boats and they die. This is not new, radically difficult science. What we did is basic science. It's not frontier science. It's not super complicated. Our small nonprofit paid for it. And it's frankly just shocking because extinction is the most catastrophic event for a species. It's the end of that species.
So there's this idea that the government says, oh no, we've done these studies. We haven't found any correlation between it. But listen to an excerpt from this letter from the National Marine Fisheries Service to the Office of Renewable Energy Programs, both of them government agencies. Sean Hayes, who's the Chief of Protected Species at NOAA, wrote, quote, the development of offshore wind poses risks to these species, which is magnified in southern New England waters due to the species abundance and distribution. These risks occur at varying stages, including construction and development, and include increased noise, vessel traffic, habitat modifications, and oceanographic changes that may disrupt the distribution, abundance, and availability of typical right whale food. They know about this.
That's right. He goes on in that letter, which came out last year, and says that it could have population-wide effects. That's code for extinction. This is the conservation movement should be ashamed of itself. The environmental movement, including Greenpeace, should be ashamed of itself. Anybody who says that they care about the environment and wildlife, which is involved in this project, should be ashamed of themselves. They are anti-science. They are lying about the science. They are on the verge of making an entire species extinct. This is an extremely serious matter. We believe we've also uncovered illegal activity. Of course, the Endangered Species Act is one of our most powerful laws. So we're going to fight to get to the bottom of this. We believe we have the evidence to put an end to these activities that are killing whales.
And we will definitely keep following the story. Michael Schellenberg, always good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Aisha?